Hello, my friends. Welcome to 30 Albums for 30 Years. I am your host, Jay Sweet, and we are continuing our series on global popular music. Now, this is a three-part episode as we explore the popular music of Asia. So part one, we'll talk about the more traditional pop music of Asia. Part two, Japanese anime and video game music and the karaoke culture. And part three, we'll look into J-pop, C-pop, K-pop, and M-pop music. So let's get into it, the music of Asia. Okay, so we begin today's episode by discussing Enka music, E-N-K-A. It's a genre of traditional Japanese music that emerged in the early 20th century and gained popularity in the post-World War II era. Enka music often reflects themes of love, loss, and nostalgia, and it is characterized by its emotive vocal style, accompanied by traditional Japanese and Western instruments. It's a ballad form of emotive music that began in the late 19th century by street singers who expressed their music and political discontent in song, often against the will of an oppressive government. It's a lot like Portuguese fado music, which we discussed in an earlier episode. In the 1920s, civil liberties improved, and the lyrical content of Enka music shifted from songs about government to songs about love. And by the 1930s, Enka singers began using larger ensembles, and after World War II, more Western elements were blended into Enka music. So let's unpack a little bit about the vocal stylings of Enka music. Enka singers expressed emotion, and singers often use vibrato and melismatic techniques to convey a sense of deep feeling. Melismatic singing is changing pitches while singing a single syllable or word, and vibrato, of course, is the shaking of the vocal cords, the shaking of a note. The lyrics often told stories of personal struggle and emotions. As far as musical instrumentation, Enka music incorporated a mix of traditional Japanese and Western instruments, as I mentioned. The shamisen, a three-stringed traditional instrument, was often used. Also, an accordion was frequently used in Enka music. Western instruments like the guitar and the drums were common as well. Enka melodies have a distinctive, recognizable structure that contributes to the emotional impact of the lyrics. The use of melodic patterns is important in organizing an Enka composition. Enka performers are often characterized by the singer's attire as well, the way they presented the music. They often wore traditional Japanese clothing, such as kimonos. This visual presentation complements the depth and the tradition of Japanese Enka music. So although it's considered an older style, Enka elements can sometimes be found in contemporary Japanese pop music. One of the most famed Enka singers is Habari Masora, born in 1937. She began her singing career at a young age and gained widespread popularity in the 1950s and 1960s. Masora released numerous hit songs which are considered classics in the Enka genre. She was the most prominent Japanese celebrity of the post-World War II era. In addition to her successful music career, Masora also appeared in various films and television dramas. Her contributions to the Japanese entertainment industry earned her numerous awards, and her influence on Japanese music and pop culture remains significant. Kanashi Saki, or Sad Saki, was a popular song by Habari Masora. The song is about drinking your sorrows away. Take notice of Masora's gorgeous and passionate vocal style and the blend of string instruments an electric organ, and some horn parts as well. The orchestration becomes more active as the song continues. At one point, Masora speaks instead of sings. Here are some of the lyrics. The sake you drunk alone at the bar, tastes of tears parting. When you drink, the images you throw away float back up in the glass. If you are unaware, sake is a strong rice wine. Let's check it out. Let's now move over to China and talk about Chinese rock music. Dating back to the late 1980s, Chinese rock and roll emerged as a form of artistic expression and rebellion, often challenging the norms of a mainstream Chinese society. Early influences included bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. During the 1980s, young Chinese musicians began experimenting with rock sounds and incorporating them into their music. Now, it's important to know a little bit about China's history to understand the power of Chinese rock music. On October 1st, 1949, Chairman Mao Zedong formally proclaimed the creation of the People's Republic of China. This communist victory had a significant impact on the global balance of power. China became the most prominent socialist state by population over time. Now, Chinese rock music gained prominence in the 1980s, as I mentioned, during a time when Chinese students began criticizing the communist regime. And in general, Chinese rock musicians were considered subversives by the government, but also heroes of the urban youth culture. The popularity of Chinese rock and roll music coincided with a period of economic reforms in the 1980s in China. Let me explain. During this time, China underwent economic reforms which led to rapid economic growth. Sounds good, more money, right? Well, not so much, because there was also a growing sense of dissatisfaction with the lack of political reforms and a desire for greater freedoms. This leads to the Tiananmen Square protests. The Tiananmen Square protests were a series of demonstrations led by students, intellectuals, and activists in Beijing. They were advocating for political reforms, freedoms of speech, and other basic democratic principles. Now, the protests happened after the death of Hu Yaobang. Hu Yaobang was a former general secretary of the Chinese Communist Party who had been sympathetic to calls for social reforms, and he became a catalyst for the protesters. His death in April of 1989 sparked a period of mourning and greater calls for political change. Now, the protest culminated in violence. The government came in with tanks and began to slaughter these students who were protesting, resulting in the deaths of hundreds or maybe even thousands of protesters. We don't know the exact numbers, but the event was televised internationally, and it really showed how the Chinese government were treating or mistreating their people. Sui Zhan is a pioneering figure in Chinese rock music and is often referred to as the father of Chinese rock. He was born in Beijing, China in 1961 and rose to prominence in the late 1980s and early 1990s during a period of significant social and cultural change in China. He grew up in a musical family and initially studied the trumpet at the Beijing Music Institute. His outspokenness and association with the 1989 pro-democracy movement led to tensions with the Chinese government. Some of his songs were banned, and he faced public performance challenges. Despite this, he continued to have a significant impact on Chinese rock music. Sui Zhan's music blends folk, rock, and traditional Chinese elements. His work has evolved over the years, incorporating different musical styles and experimenting with diverse sounds. His ability to fuse Western and Chinese musical elements contributed to the uniqueness of his music and his overall sound. Nothing to My Name was a breakthrough song for Sui Zhan. Sui Zhan gained widespread recognition for his performance of the song Nothing to My Name at the 1986 concert for New Long March, a government-sponsored event. With rock and folk influence, the song resonated with a generation seeking social and cultural changes. Nothing to My Name became an anthem for the 1989 Tiananmen Square protest. Sui Zhan's music often addresses social and political issues, and his popularity surged when many Chinese youths yearned for greater individual expression and political openness. The music begins slow and serious, and then it picks up. Let's check this one out. Nothing to My Name by Sui Zhan. Okay, now let's journey over to Thailand and talk about their music. King Bhumibol, the great king of Thailand from the Chakri dynasty, reigned from 1946 until 2016. He was beloved by the Thai people. Now, Bhumibol was very interested in music. In fact, he was a gifted saxophonist, and he really liked jazz music. So he performed with people like Benny Goodman, the great jazz clarinetist, Stan Getz, jazz saxophonist, and trumpeter Maynard Ferguson. So Bhumibol was important because he helped to introduce Western jazz music to the Eastern world. Luk Thong music is a genre of Thai folk music that emerged in the mid-20th century. The term Luk Thong translates to child of the fields. This genre is often associated with the working class and rural communities of Thailand. Luk Thong typically features themes related to everyday life, rural landscapes, love, and the experiences of the common people. The music is characterized by the use of traditional Thai instruments, such as the kini, which is a type of a mouth organ, the sor, which is a plucked string instrument, and various other percussion instruments as well. Over time, Luk Thong has incorporated more modern elements in instrumentation, blending traditional styles and contemporary styles. Surafal Sobhachuon, born in 1930, was a highly influential figure in Thailand's Luk Thong music. He is often referred to as the king of Luk Thong for his significant contributions to developing and popularizing the style. He began his music career in the 1950s. His songs often focused on rural life, love, and the experiences of the working class. He played a crucial role in shaping Luk Thong's identity as a genre that captured the essence of the Thai countryside. Now, sadly, Sobhachuon was murdered, shot dead by an unknown assailant while walking to his car after a performance on August 16, 1968. The motive for the murder remains unknown, and he was only 37 years old at the time of his death. All right, let's check out a track from Surafal Sobhachuon. Take notice of his distinctive voice. Another form of Thai music is called Luk Krong, which translates to child of the city, indicating its connection to urban life. This genre gained popularity in the 1950s and 1960s, particularly in Bangkok. And Luk Krong focuses on urban themes. The lyrics may explore topics related to city living and the changing dynamics of urban society in the 1980s with the emergence of Luk Krong. The genre blends Luk Thong with Western influences. Pompong Dongjong, born in 1961, was a Thai megastar. She was the singer and actress who is most associated with pioneering electric Luk Thong music. She is considered one of the most essential Luk Thong and Luk Krong vocalists in Thailand. The child of poor farmers, Dongjong had only 2 years of primary education before her family's plight forced her to take to the fields as a sugar cane cutter. Although illiterate, she was adept at memorizing lyrics and participated in many local singing competitions. At the age of 15, she came to notoriety, and from the late 1970s onwards, her fame skyrocketed. Although loved by millions of fans, her music career was marred by poor personal relationships, bad management, and promoters, and they deprived her of her earnings to the extent that she could not afford treatment for a blood disorder that eventually caused her death at the age of 30 in 1992. Check out this track by Pupum Dongjong that I found on Spotify. It's got some serious funky 70s vibes, blending, again, Eastern and Western music. Let's check it out. Okay, we continue our journey by going to Indonesia, and let's talk about gamelan music. Gamelan music is the most well-known music of Indonesia. A gamelan ensemble typically consists of metallophones, xylophones, drums, gongs, and other percussion instruments. It's a highly intricate rhythmic form of music, and it's often associated with traditional ceremonies, dance, and what's known as shadow puppet performances. Okay, so let's take a listen to some gamelan music. This is from Gamelan Kudamani, a band known for its dynamic performances and dedication to the tradition of Balinese arts. They often collaborate with artists worldwide, contributing to the global appreciation of gamelan music. Truna Gondrong is the song that I've chosen. As with most Balinese pieces, it's highly rhythmic, highly organized. When we talk about Balinese music, we're talking about rhythmic instruments primarily. And here's a great example. Let's check it out. Krongkong music is a traditional Indonesian music that has its roots in Portuguese-influenced music. It originated in regions of Jakarta and West Java in the late 19th century and became popular in the early 20th century. Krongkong music combines elements of Portuguese, Southeast Asian, and Dutch music, resulting in a distinctive and unique style. Traditional Krongkong music is typically played with a smaller ensemble. The primary instruments include a Krongkong guitar, a ukulele-like instrument called the kak, C-A-K, a larger guitar that they call the cello, and a violin and a flute. Krongkong music is known for its sweet and melodic tunes. The lyrics often convey poetic and romantic images, reflecting the influence of Portuguese fado music. The songs can cover a range of topics, including love, daily life, and social issues. The genre, Krongkong, has a strong cultural influence, and its development is closely tied to the historical and cultural interactions between Indonesia and European nations, particularly Portugal. While traditional Krongkong remains popular, the genre has also evolved over time. Modern Krongkong incorporates elements of Western music, and contemporary musicians have explored fusing Krongkong with many other genres. Waljina is one of the most renowned artists associated with Krongkong music. Born in 1945 in Central Java, Indonesia, she is often referred to as the Queen of Krongkong and has been a prominent figure in the world of Indonesian music, particularly for her contributions to the preservation and promotions of Krongkong music. Waljina's career has spanned several decades, and she is celebrated for her soulful and captivating renditions of Krongkong songs. Her commitment to the tradition of Krongkong, combined with her powerful vocals, has earned her widespread acclaim worldwide. She has not only preserved the classical elements of Krongkong, but has also contributed to its contemporary adaptations. Suwe Ua Jumu is a traditional Javanese song that has been widely known and beloved in Indonesia. The title roughly translates to, "It's been a long time since I had a tonic." The song is often associated with traditional Javanese cultural performance and is sung on various occasions. The lyrics typically express sentiments of longing and nostalgia. The term jamu refers to traditional Indonesian herbal medicine, and the lyrics metaphorically convey the idea of missing or longing for something beneficial, much like the way one might long for a tonic. So check out Wajina's version of this classic song. Dangdut music is a popular genre that blends traditional Indonesian music with influences from Indian, Arabic, and Malaysian music. Its solid rhythms and catchy melodies characterize the form, and Dangdut music often features traditional instruments played alongside more modern ones. The music was a response by post-war youths who thought krongkonk music was old-fashioned, and they preferred American rock and pop, but the government banned those styles. However, the influence could not be suppressed, and from 1965 through 1967, Indonesian political leadership was in turmoil, and new rules lessened restrictions on Western influences. Dangdut gets its name from the sound produced by hitting the Indian instrument called the tabla. Rhoma Irama, the king of Dangdut music, was born in 1946 in West Java, Indonesia. A prominent figure in Indonesian music, Irama developed an interest in music from a young age. In the 1960s, he joined several bands and gained experience in various musical genres, including pop, rock, and jazz. In the early 1970s, Rhoma Irama formed the Soneta Group, a musical ensemble that became instrumental in popularizing Dangdut music. Irama quickly rose to fame as a Dangdut superstar, and his music often contained social and moral messages. He became known for his distinctive style, which incorporated elements of traditional Indonesian music with a modern twist. Irama has been influential in shaping the cultural landscape of Indonesia, and his popularity has transcended generations. He is often credited with bringing Dangdut music into the mainstream. In addition to his musical career, Irama has also ventured into acting and has been involved in Indonesian politics. He ran for political office and was elected as a People's Assembly member in the 2004 Indonesian legislative elections. All right, let's check out some music from Irama. This is called Bengadang. Released in the 1970s, it became a massive hit and is considered a classic in the Dangdut genre. The title, Bengadang, translates to staying up all night in English. The song lyrics discuss staying up late at night for various reasons, often related to love and heartbreak. The catchy and energetic tune and Rhoma Irama's distinctive vocal style contributed to the song's widespread popularity. Let's check it out. All right, my friends, there we have it. A look into some of the more traditional popular music of Asia, just a survey. And, this is part one of a three-part series, as I've mentioned, on the popular music of Asia. So join me for part two, where I discuss Japanese anime music and video game music coming out of Japan. I think you'll enjoy that one. So together, let's keep this wonderful music alive. Let's continue to listen and to learn. Have a wonderful day, and peace.